Hi guys, and welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Michelle.
And my name is Nina, and welcome back to a fresh episode of Carefree Queens. It's been a hot minute. The season has ended. We are in the summer transfer window. How are you finding your break from Chelsea football?
It's a very stress-free environment, isn't it? Or at least I thought so. I feel like the news are just they keep ticking in, don't they? But I mean, I don't know. It's bittersweet, I think, because I kind of
Yeah,
am bored. Like, what am I gonna complain about? What am I gonna watch? But I mean, thank God for the transfer news, because I feel like they're keeping us on our toes, aren't they?
definitely. And I feel like it's been thrown around a lot in recent kind of days. I mean, obviously, Chelsea was very quick with selling players. I think we all know that was happening in summer. I just feel like
Yeah.
I didn't know it would be that quick and that immediate as soon as the football kind of ended. But there is obviously a massive, massive piece of news circulating around Chelsea Football Club, and me and you actually haven't really had a chance to speak about it. So I just want to get your thoughts on it. You know exactly whose name I'm going to say, but it's
Yeah.
Mr. Mason Mount. So obviously that came out of the blue. I personally didn't expect it. I opened my phone and I was actually watching the Europa League final and I saw a post of Mason Mount in a Man United shirt. And at first I was like, this is surely someone just having a laugh. Like, this is someone
Mm.
making a meme. But no, it was everywhere. It was all over my feed. And it was just like, okay, wow, this is happening.
Yeah, Mr. Chelsea or whatever. Um, I was actually fuming when I saw it first, and I had a full-on rant. I don't know if you saw, but I had a full-on rant on my Instagram stories. I think at first I sort of blamed him. I
Mm,
blamed him for wanting a way better salary, etc., etc., etc. But once I calmed down a bit, I guess I realized is way more complicated than people make it out to be only about the salary. There's so much more that goes into a contract. Um so at this point I actually don't really know who to blame. I'm just really frustrated with the situation. I'm frustrated that someone like him who literally grew up in the club um is gonna end his career at Chelsea this way. It's very, very, very frustrating, and I think he is. I don't know. I don't think he thought it was gonna end like this as well. I think there's been going a lot on behind the scenes, which we haven't heard about and maybe never will hear about. But um, yeah, the ownership really knows how to keep me annoyed at them or with them. I personally feel like they need to, I don't know, do a lot before they will sort of redeem for all the things that has really annoyed me. One of the things being Mason. It's just I feel like in a way I feel like it's Rudiger 2.0, but I just feel like it hurts in a different way because he grew up in the club, and I thought he was going to be one of the Chelsea legends. I even remember I posted or I sent something to him, and I was like, "Way to go, future captain!" And I was like, "Yeah, jokes on me now." Um, yeah, so that's how I feel about Mason. How about you?
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. I've tried to look at it from both sides because, like you said, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that
Hmm.
us Chelsea fans just can't and won't know. And I feel like Mason Mount is a type of person, like, say what you want about him as a player, but I feel like he's a type of person that will never kind of turn on an ownership and start, or on a club and start kind of criticizing, condemning, calling them names and stuff like that. I feel like he'd go about things in a very kind of mature and, he'd accept that maybe fans won't know the whole truth, but he's not going to go
Yeah.
out of his way to reveal that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that means he has to go against his young boy club. He has to go
Yeah.
against everything that has basically essentially made him a footballer as well. So he doesn't want to kind of end it on those terms, and I'm sure that he won't reveal the full story. I am sure that ownership have a big kind of part to play in this, like you said. I don't think it's a
Absolutely.
one-sided situation where Mason Mount has just gone, I want to leave the club, look, literally sell me, like I'm not signing this contract. If you don't offer me, 300k a week, like I'm leaving, I'm dipping. Because we were told that before the World Cup he was offered a contract, then the contract was taken apparently off the table. He wasn't offered anything kind of in between, better, or essentially another chance at signing a contract. So then that kind of died down, and then us Chelsea fans were obviously led to believe that Mount just wasn't signing a contract at all. And, we were led to believe that throughout the whole kind of months leading up to the end of the season, that he is going, because there's no kind of news on a contract. He hasn't made any appearances. And then on the last day of the Premier League, he didn't really say goodbye either. And I feel like I said that if he had a massive goodbye, like we'd send off all our other Chelsea players, we clapped off Ruben Loftus-Cheek,
Yeah.
Azpilicueta, kinds of important players over the years for Chelsea Football Club. We didn't have the same with Mason Mount, and I feel like he didn't let us do that because of this reason, because he was obviously going to be linked to Manchester United about not even 5 days later. So I feel like he didn't ever let us, I want to say, kind of embarrass ourselves to that extent, because then we would have kind of been looked at as fans and gone, ha, look at you, your most loyal Chelsea boy left you for Manchester United, left you for more money, this, that. So I feel like Mount has kind of protected us in that sense as well. But at the same time, I'm not quick to blame him, call him a snake, call him a traitor, because I understand that our ownership as well has made loads of mistakes, and it is very possible that they made a mistake in this kind of whole problem as well. So I'm not going to go and say it was a one-sided thing. I definitely think it's a combination of a lot of factors that have led to this outcome. But we are obviously yet to see how that goes down. A lot of people are saying, well, he's got 1 year left on his contract. If he isn't ever going to sign a contract, the worst possible next thing is him walking out for free, because then that is an even bigger pain to endure. Mount walking off for free, a player that we have literally molded, a player that we literally gave birth to, walking out for free and joining a rival club. That would have been a whole nother different pain. So yeah, okay, if he is going, my next thing is make some money off him. As bad as that may sound, make some money off him. There is obviously, I think, a fee of something like 50-60 million on the table. Obviously, whether that is going to be, the actual physical price there, fair enough. We need to make money off homegrown players. So that's just where I lie with Mount.
Yeah, fair enough. I just personally, I think it's a shame. I think I've said this a few times before, but I think one of the things that makes a football club really special is homegrown players. And yeah, sure, you can buy your way to success. We have enough money. Money is not going to be a problem for us, but I think we need this factor of players who grew up, who dreamed about making it to the first team, like actually having passion to step a foot onto the pitch in Stamford Bridge, and all of these small things that money never really could buy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's why I personally think it's such a shame, because I don't care what anyone says. I personally think he is the most Chelsea we have at the moment, even though he is going to leave. And I just think that's such a shame, because it is going to shape a football team in a different way than players who have been bought are going to do. Speaking of money, however, and speaking about not having problems when it comes to money in any shape or form, I think we should talk about the Portuguese João Felix, because we made the most expensive loan deal ever, and he never really blossomed, and we were not gonna put down, we were not gonna try and buy him, or essentially not even buy him. Um, I just, the way I see it from two sides. I understand you don't want to put down a ridiculous amount of money to keep a player who hasn't really proven anything. But at the same time, I feel like we've wasted a ton of money as well to not maybe try and get him for another loan and see if we could actually get something out of him. Because I think he could be really great. We saw sparks of it. We saw his creativity. We saw, I always go back to this, but his first game, he was so hungry to prove himself. He loved to be in London, to be a part of the squad. So I think it's a shame when it comes to him that we didn't try and get him for another season, just on another loan, especially because we spent so much money on getting absolutely nothing out of him. We would have gotten the exact same results without him as well. It wouldn't have changed. Personally, that's what I think. I don't think it would have changed anything. I don't think it would have changed the way we ended the season if we didn't have him. Um, so yeah, I just hope he learns. I don't know what your thoughts about him are.
Yeah, no, I'm like you. I was a massive fan of Joao Felix. I think, like you said, he was a spark in a time where things were just so dull on the pitch, and we were
Mm,
so desperate to just see anything entertaining or remotely promising
yeah.
on the pitch. So I think like that's why we were so impressed with Joao Felix. But at the same time, I'm a massive believer that Pochettino knows what is best for the future of
Yeah.
Chelsea. Or at least I have to believe that. Otherwise,
Mm,
you know, where do we go from here? So I know that Pochettino likes to work with less players. Obviously, he is desperate to cut down this bloated squad. Like, we need to clear out as many players because otherwise we're left with the same difficulties that we were last season. So him wanting to work with less players is probably the reason why Joao Felix was kind of let to go. I think that obviously with Nkunku coming in as well, he didn't want to risk having too many players trying to compete for that position. And obviously, Joao Felix is quite a character as well on the pitch.
mm,
He is someone that will demand starting time because he is a regular starter in
mm,
terms of what he has shown at Chelsea. He should have gotten more, you know, starts, more playing time, etc., etc. But my only reasoning to justify him leaving is that that is Pochettino's plan. So, you know,
yeah.
I'm not dwelling on it too much. Like you said, I
No.
was a really big fan of Joao Felix. I think I was talking to someone who had a really good point about, was Joao Felix actually really, really good, or were we just that desperate to see something, you know, and that's why he stood out so much. And, you
Mm,
know, I really, really do see that point. But on to other players that are linked with moves away from Chelsea is obviously Kai Havertz, you know, another
mm,
one of our youngsters. These are all young players we're talking about here. You
yeah.
know, these are players that still have footballing career in them. They all have potential. They're not bad players. Kai Havertz, however, like many others, has divided opinion in the fan base for as long as I can remember. Obviously, he's linked with that Champions League final goal, and that will forever be a massive virtue to him.
Mm,
However, is that enough to say that 75 million is worth Kai Havertz? And is that enough to say that he deserves to be kept on for the remaining kind of years at Chelsea? Is that, in
mm.
your opinion, enough of a reason to keep and try Kai Havertz, try being a key word here next season
No.
again?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if I'm gonna sound really harsh right now.
Mm.
Um, but I think the pause in that Champions League final was better than the goal. That's just that's just my personal opinion, and I reckon if you'd put anyone who is better or equally as good as Kai, we would have scored either way. I don't know if this is me being biased or whatever, but for me it was the pass that did it. Um, Mr. Mount Weber. It's just annoying. However, I do believe that he would have been doing better or in a different way if he hadn't been played out of position so consistently. Um, which I think is a shame because I I think he could be good if he was played in a way that would suit him better. I don't think he's going to be someone we're going to miss in Chelsea. Even though I actually don't like being that hard on players, but I just
I get that.
do you know what I mean? I don't honestly. I don't know. I personally don't think it's gonna hurt us in any way that we're gonna let go of him because I feel like we have other players who could take over his role and do it better. Personally, I feel like
Mm.
for example Detroit Fofana, he would be. I personally, I think he would be way better up front, especially because we have consistently been playing Kai out of position. So I actually feel like that's going to be a good move.
Mm.
And I mean, hopefully he's going to come to a club who's actually going to play him in a position he prefers to be played as. Um, yeah, what about you?
Well, it's funny you say that because Real Madrid want him badly now. You know, Benzema was announced to have been leaving Real Madrid yesterday. So I think they were interested in Kai Havertz before that was officially announced. So now I feel like that is only going to grow kind of stronger and
Mm,
they're going to want him. I mean, people will laugh to think that Kai Havertz is being seen as a fitting replacement to Karim Benzema, but you know that's what it's looking like. And
mm,
Ancelotti is a massive fan of Kai Havertz. We've seen that he is fond of him in the past times that we've met in the last few recent years.
yeah.
And if we get 50 million for him, I'd say that's probably a decent amount of money. I know we paid 75, but 50 million for a player going to La Liga is for me good because I don't see any other clubs kind of swinging in for any
Mm,
prices of that sort to match that. And we need to make some money off Kai Havertz. We still need to make enough money by the end of June to kind of be in financial fair play's good books. We still have a lot of money to make up for that. So
mm,
I think that's potentially good. You know, you see Mount's price tag, you see Kai Havertz. We're already kind of on a road to making 100 or so million out of these players. So not so much of a bad thing. You know, this isn't even me
mm,
sounding selfish anymore. We need to make money. We need to let go of these players, and it is so time to move on for Kai Havertz. Like you said, I agree that Kai Havertz won't be that missed in our squad.
mm,
Like, I love your point about him kind of costing other players like Datro Fofana playing time because a lot of the time they could have been played up top. You
yeah,
keep crying, Kai Havertz is a number 9. We'll stop playing him as a number 9 and then see what happens. But no,
yeah,
we just unfortunately haven't had competent managers this season to be able to see that, to be able to identify that. So yeah, Kai Havertz, I mean, who knows? Some people are saying watch him thrive in La Liga, but you know, I think then we will turn around and say, really, Kai Havertz, 3 seasons and where the hell was any of that? Because unfortunately scoring in finals isn't quite cutting it is for you to be, you know, consistently staying at Chelsea, starting week in week out. I think he's scored in about 3 finals in total, but for me that isn't really worth 75 million. You know, you've got to
mm,
be consistently starting. If you're consistently starting in the league, then you should be able to be producing in the league as well as, you know,
mm,
the odd few finals. Because look at this season, we didn't play any finals. We weren't anywhere near any finals. So, you know, you can't be holding on to that. As a player
mm,
of that age, you can't really say you've not settled into a league where you have been already 3 years. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
just not
yeah.
quite made sense. So, yeah, good call
Um,
there.
Speaking of, you said something along the lines that there aren't really any other clubs who are gonna put in a bargain for him. Um, were Munich not very interested
Mm.
at a
I
point?
think so. I think at one point, but I think that fell through. I think
Okay,
Bayern Leverkusen maybe were keen on that again, but I'm not too sure. I think
okay,
it wasn't quite certain, or they didn't really come in with an actual bid
okay.
or anything.
All right. Well, fair enough.
Mm.
Um, should we talk a little bit about leadership, ownership? Because I feel like that's like a favorite topic. Um, so something that stood out for me during this transfer window, summer break, was that it was actually Pochettino. Is that how you say his name? Pochettino.
Pochettino, yeah.
All right. It was actually his wish to not keep Zhao. And I actually feel like we know that would have never happened in the beginning of the ownership. So do you think it's gonna where do you think we're going to stand in the beginning of next season? Do you think the ownership has matured a bit? Do you think they've realized and sort of taken notes for the many mistakes that has been made throughout this season?
I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, like you said, that's a great point of Pochettino being given the agency and the freedom to decide who stays and goes at Chelsea, because obviously
Yeah.
that's one of the main things you do as a manager, especially a manager with actual belief and actual self-esteem and actual, a big ego which is justified. So I'm quite happy that they've given him that freedom. I think Pochettino didn't come in thinking it would be otherwise, especially with
Mm,
owners brand new to the club as well, which is still working out how to own a football club as well. Obviously, Pochettino is an experienced manager, and I think he came in with a big ask of having more agency as a manager. And I think Todd Bowley is going to take a step back, which, like you said, is a big kind of first step to learning and growing as a owner. I feel like this season, or last season rather, was a big trial and error for him. He accepted that he made a lot of mistakes. He accepted that he does need to take a step back. I feel like, because me and you spoke about this a lot, I feel like he tried too hard in many moments, tried too hard to get the fans on his side, to
yeah.
kind of fill the absence of Roman Abramovich. But that is a massive, massive kind of mission you have there for yourself. And for us, it was never you trying to be like Roman. We knew this would be a new regime. We knew this would be a new kind of building block. But to
Mm,
go about decisions the way you did, I think really disappointed a lot of fans and made us question the ownership a lot of times. I do
mm,
feel like it is too early to kind of label the ownership and what they are like. Essentially, I feel like we need to see them in action for the rest of the seasons. They're here to
yeah.
stay. We can't really be calling for them to leave the door just yet. We're still in plan. But I feel like equally Todd has shown a lot of interest in the future as well, obviously with investments and stuff and scouting young players from around the whole world. I feel like we've seen some promising kind of moves in the right direction as well. So I feel like the right ideas were there. I feel like the methods weren't quite there, if you know what I mean. I feel like we
Yeah.
didn't go about things in the best way, but I feel like we agree that we will give them a chance because we have no other choice.
Yeah, no, I think you're very right, and I think that was very spot on. I hope he's gonna be sort of like a sponge and
Mm,
not just let his ego take over, because that was sort of the vibe I had for this season, that he was very driven to get his vision to blossom, but he just didn't really have the right tools to do so, and I think he was too eager um
mm,
to work everything out. But we'll see. I personally feel like it's already looking better, just by the action that has been taken, like you said, taking a step back, not putting himself in charge of buying players. It's just like the
mm.
tiniest things that has been. Personally, I thought it was very silly. A lot of things he did, and it's very nice to see that he has realized that it was silly, and he's not able to do that by himself. So hopeful, I guess we can say we are. We will see. I feel like that's the theme for the new ownership, that we will see. We cannot say anything until we've seen it.
And we're still yet
Um,
to become carefree, aren't we, Michelle? We're still
yeah,
waiting. We're still waiting. So there we
we
go.
were we were too quick with this name. The birth of us has yet to come. We're still in the womb. We have yet
Mm.
to be to be given birth to. Um, that's it, really, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of it. I mean, we could
Yeah,
go on forever. That's it. We're gonna
absolutely.
yet to go through a journey this summer. So yeah,
Yeah.
stay tuned, I guess.
Oh, just one last thing. Kovacic to City.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put a quick word in for that one. I feel Kovacic should go, whether
Yeah.
to City is a bit of an iffy one, but I don't quite know if he'd be a regular starter there or if he'd be more for kind of squad depth there. But at the end of the day, we know they're looking for midfielders. Pep has always been a fan of Kovacic, so it doesn't surprise me too much. But yeah, at the same time, I know Kova has come to kind of the end of his Chelsea career, so yeah.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. Well, thank you for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below what you think about all of this silly season transfer summer window break. As always, I will make sure that our Instagram accounts are linked down below. And yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have
Thank you
anything
for
to add?
watching. No, thanks for
No.
watching.
Yeah. We'll see you in the next one, guys.